Now, look, let's move on because the Washington Post is reporting that Donald Trump is considering wheeling back his proposed tariffs. Trump says that that report is wrong. But Anthony Albanese is assuring everyone that either way, the tariffs won't hurt Australia. This is what he said.
The United States has had a trade surplus with Australia since the Truman presidency, and therefore it is in the United States' interest for us to continue to implement the free trade agreement, which has the support on a bipartisan basis in the Australian Parliament.
Well, Nick, I guess he can't have any more fears about the future of the economy.
Well, that's right. Look, let's see what Trump does. We've only another 13 more sleeps to go, if I've calculated it correct, when he will be inaugurated as president. My take on this is that Trump often uses the threat of tariffs really to get other countries just to wake up. The particular one I'm thinking of is when he decided, he announced he was going to impose huge tariffs on Mexico and Canada, like their two of their biggest trading partners. He did that, simply linked it to immigration. He didn't want illegal immigration, most of which, of course, comes across the Mexican border, but a significant amount comes across the border from Canada too. He wanted Trudeau to wake up, and Trudeau responded by immediately flying down to Mar-a-Lago. So he got the result he wanted, and I think that the actual tariffs, well, we shall see, but I'd be very surprised if he goes ahead with the tariffs on Canada, particularly now Trudeau has resigned.
Yeah, he's probably celebrating that Trudeau has resigned. That was certainly a long time coming in itself. Now, look, let's talk more broadly about the economy. The Prime Minister and Jim Chalmers say that it's improving and that inflation is down. And they keep peddling this line, Nick, that the bad days are behind us. Now, it's not the lived experience of ordinary Australians. But I saw this report this morning in 9 newspapers that a coffee company executive thinks if you're paying less than $7 for coffee, you're getting a bargain. Now, I don't know about you, but $7, Nick?
Yeah, that was an extraordinarily useful article, I thought, for the Herald. It doesn't usually produce anything that's particularly useful, but, you know, they broke down the cost of a cup of coffee, 56 cents for the actual coffee itself, 58 cents for the milk. Well, I don't take milk, so I immediately want 58 cents off my next coffee when I turn up for one. But, you know, it is interesting. Labour, of course, being a huge component. And we've all noticed over the summer break, you know, when there have been penalties in place because it's been public holiday, how expensive it is. Suddenly you find yourself paying $30 for 2 coffees and a couple of almond croissants. It is just incredible, but that is the Labour component. And so Chalmers is wrong. Inflation is fueled by government spending. It's also fueled by regulation. And if you have these huge penalty agreements in place, then it will has to push up the cost of a cup of coffee. So Chalmers is absolutely wrong. And people are getting this, by the way, that government spending is the most important component when it comes to inflation. That inflation begins in Canberra with the government spending, and if Chalmers wants to take pressure off government spending, then he should come into his next budget determined to get government expenditure back to reasonable levels, which is considerably lower than it is now.
Yeah, well, it's government spending, regulation, as you said, and not to mention an out-of-control migration program is the only thing propping up this economy right now. Nick Cater, really good to speak with you. Thank you very much for joining me on the show this evening.